Each human being is an appliance, and the appliance is there to serve the needs of the narcissist.
Less than 10 seconds into this conversation, and we're off to the races. Self-confessed narcissistic psychopath HG Tudor's The Ultra tells veteran podcaster Brad Carr on his YouTube channel of the same name that essentially all other human beings are mere appliances to him, that we are all here to serve him. That's the attitude an infant has to its mother or father. Coincidence? Let's hear more from this totally unhinged, mask-off interview.
Control always has to be obtained. What happens is the narcissist will control you directly. So they might provoke you so that you respond to that provocation, which gives the narcissist fuel and shows that you're under control. The narcissist might flatter you, so you respond favorably, which shows that you're under control and you're giving fuel. You provide fuel. So there's lots of different ways, but they're all direct. If the narcissist is unable to assert control over you direct because they've tried and they failed, so for instance, the narcissist keeps trying to insult you and you just keep laughing it off, or the narcissist can't physically or electronically interact with you, the direct assertion of control doesn't work. But the narcissist is not allowed to just go, oh, well, that's that. They have to get this control. So the narcissism then shunts to the second assertion of control, which is indirect, and this is where it leads into the smearing.
I hope you caught all of that. Derpers, that is, narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, are all about control. We've covered in earlier videos that when derpers provoke you, reacting in an emotional way shows that you're under their control, just as the Ultra says. By the way, advice reveals the advisor. A typical piece of advice provided by derpers is that you should provoke an intended target of theirs. People are showing you who they are and how they operate when they give you advice. If their advice is sadistic or manipulative, featuring underhanded aggression while using an ends justify the means philosophy, they are revealing their own lack of morality. The Ultra suggests that even when these people flatter you, reacting in an emotional way to that compliment shows them that you're under their control. The Ultra reveals that even their smear campaigns are about control. One quick point about this bizarro control fixation. We've already covered in earlier videos that narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths engage in chronic dishonesty and extreme manipulativeness. What I'd like to point out to you now is that those two qualities are two sides of the same coin, or rather, the same control function. Anyone who engages in extreme manipulativeness for control is also likely to engage in pathological lying for control. So while those of you who do not have much experience with chronic dishonesty may not be able to pick up on the pathological lying, you may still be able to pick up on the red flag that is their extreme manipulativeness during times when your mind is free from the culty Dolt-yness they inspire. At the toddler-like lying and crying sessions that are a part of the smear campaigns conducted in echo chambers on social media, if, against all odds, somehow your mind is free of culty Dolt-yness for a few seconds, you may wish to investigate why an intended target's saying that's reflective of a good character trait is a problem. You may ask, why is it bad that one of the intended target's most frequent sayings is "I'm sorry"? To which the personality disordered people pushing the smear may say, "Oh, mommy, oh, daddy, it was so awful. He or she victimized me and then said I'm sorry." That's what people who say "I'm sorry" so frequently are really like. Blindly accepting illogical or outlandish claims at face value is culty Dolt-yness. Flying monkeyness. Frequent apologizing usually comes from people who are agreeable, eager to avoid conflict, and apologizing frequently as part of treading light. In fact, people who apologize frequently may often be neurotic, which, if you're paying attention, is quite antithetical to narcissism. But in this one specific case, it's totally different. Flying monkeys, cult group members, scream. You know, the scientific community has a saying coined by one of the best critical thinkers this world has ever seen. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. It's a way to cut down on buying the snake oil people try to sell you. Carl Sagan is saying, hey, I'm an open-minded guy. If you want to tell me something really unusual or outlandish is true, I'm up for it. But let the evidence backing up your claim be proportional to how unusual or outlandish it is. Before accepting a severe accusation as gospel, critical thinkers ask how consistent this claim with the targeted individual's established behavioral history with me. Have I ever seen this person, this intended target, ever do that? And what was the temperament of the targeted individual when you've seen them as a child? You know, some of you may have multiple decades of experience with a targeted individual, Not only when they were an adult, but maybe when they were a child as well. Temperament is not something kids hide very well. Even when a kid tries to hide his or her abusive nature, they tend to be bad at the hiding. By the way, licensed clinical psychologist and professor of psychology in multiple universities, world-renowned Dr. Sam Vaknin, said this about smear campaigns.
All smear campaigns in this sense are kind of conspiracy theories. Mind you, not all conspiracy theories are smear campaigns, but all smear campaigns are conspiracy theories.
Oh, Mommy. Oh, Daddy. Since you believe the conspiracy theory I gave you about the intended target using the phrase, "I'm sorry," in a way that traumatized me, can I tell you more? Here are the intended target's top 5 sayings. 1. Thank you very much. 2. It's okay. It's okay. I got to say that. 3. Don't worry about it. 4. Cool. 5. Awesome. I was so traumatized, Mommy. I was so traumatized, Daddy. We have to examine this culty Dolt-yness, guys. We can see it in the fact that derpers, that is, narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, convince their supporters to adopt this bizarro attitude. If I'm not abusing, that's abuse. I say this because when it comes to the palindromic speech-using mind game that we covered in an earlier video, that mind game is destined to fail when intended targets adopt psychological stoic defenses and consciously begin the process of individuating. When the palindromic speech fails to elicit an emotional reaction from their intended target, flying monkeys become intensely triggered. And if the intended target starts actually using those same words that were supposed to be so hurtful back to the flying monkeys, the level these folks are then triggered is often raised exponentially to the point where the intended target may have to say, look, I don't want to abuse these people. I better stop using these words so that they feel better. To which the response from flying monkeys is, look what we did. We took those words away from the intended target. This is a big victory. That's what happens when fantasy meets reality. Culty Dolt-yness. That's the role derpers place their biggest supporters in. A role of manufactured incompetence. A role where if the person knew what was happening, they'd feel humiliated or remorseful. These abusers want to put you, their biggest supporter, in a position where you say, see, while you walk around blind. Yet, flying monkeys never understand that the joke's on them. Still, my advice to intended targets is to never believe the illusion. Narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths want you to believe that they are one with their flying monkeys. They are not. Derpers exploit their biggest supporters as useful idiots. It's not your job to fight people who are being exploited. That completes the triangulation. That advances the false narrative by adding to the disinformation about who you are in story form. No, it's your job to reach these people. Most flying monkeys are innocent and righteous, and the real ones that I'm thinking of walk their talk, which as far as I'm concerned, puts them beyond reproach. Flying monkeys are controlled through emotional dysregulation. They are told that someone else is behaving immorally, someone else is treating someone cruelly, and the injured party desperately needs help. Flying monkeys have no comprehension of chronic dishonesty because they've never seen it. You may be able to tell them what it looks like. It looks like pathological lying. It looks like a group of personality disordered people collaborating to provide false testimonies. That's not enough. Flying monkeys understand these concepts on an academic level, but they go, no, that's impossible. Why is it impossible? Because I would never do that. These people are beautiful. Cult group members, yes, but also brothers and sisters, group members of the kingdom of heaven. They are the last people who would ever want to be on the side of an abuser. And Christ's prayer applies. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Much love, and God bless.